People want fast results, and paid SEO can feel like the easy way to get those rankings, but unfortunately, it's not as simple as it sounds.
Welcome back to Duo On Air. I'm Abby.
And I'm Courtney.
And we're the ex-agency turned entrepreneurial team that puts the Duo in Duo Collective. Our boutique organic marketing agency specializes in SEO, social media strategy, and branding.
We're an everyday pair of business besties / marketing experts obsessed with helping our community learn more about what it takes to run a business.
Which is why on Duo On Air, we're not holding anything back. We're giving you all the info we know about how to grow your business organically so you can be the confident CEO you were made to be.
And how to navigate life as a small business owner.
Whether it's on your own or with your best friend by your side, so grab your coffee
or your mimosa, we don't judge,
and settle in for a quick value-packed episode of Marketing Tips.
Welcome back to the Duo On Air podcast. This is episode number 145, and we wanted to take a moment to talk about paid SEO. This is a question we get all the time, is should I invest in paid SEO or organic SEO? We're not going to tell you that either is wrong, but we do strongly believe that there is a proper order to go about it. We also get the question all the time is, do you do paid SEO for your clients? And the answer is no. We specialize specifically in organic SEO, and throughout this episode, you are going to understand why. So we'll break that down. We do have some really great paid SEO partners that we lean on when clients are ready, but there's a reason why we start with organic first. But before we get into that, let's start with what paid SEO even is and what that typically includes. So when you are paying for SEO, this can come down to you paying an agency or a company who's offering guaranteed rankings for a fee. Now, I kind of hate the idea of guaranteed rankings. No one can guarantee anything. That is not possible. And sure, there might be people out there who think that they've cheated the system and can say something like that. But at the end of the day, Google is an algorithm. It's the same thing as someone saying that they can guarantee you followers on Instagram. Likely the stuff you're going to get is complete crap. So I would be very cautious of that. Paid SEO can also include things like services that promise SEO boosts through ads, backlink, or content. So if you are paying to have a link or content out there on the web, this is also something to be cautious of because it is against Google's guidelines to pay for a backlink. And if Google finds out about that, they are going to kind of knock you down a peg, so to speak, or you won't be as trusted. That content could get removed. You would have to work a heck of a lot harder to climb your way up to the top. And the most popular thing that people pay for when it comes to SEO is keywords. And again, this is something that can be very successful for a lot of people once you have a really solid foundation. So paying for keywords through Google Ads, for example, is how you'll show up at the top of a search engine result page. So at the very top, you'll see a handful of listings, usually 1 through 3, 4, 5 maybe, that have this bold sponsored above it. That bold sponsored is bigger than it ever was before. And that is basically what you are paying for. You are paying to show up at the top of a search engine page. So we're going to talk a lot about some of the problems that come with paid ads. We understand why it sounds so appealing. You are getting quick results. You're showing up at the top of a search engine page without having to do any of the hard work on your website to get there. And we totally get that. People want fast results, and paid SEO can feel like the easy way to get those rankings. But unfortunately, it's not as simple as it sounds. So let's walk through why, and let's talk about some of the problems with a paid SEO strategy only, not thinking about anything organic. The first problem is that it is not a long-term strategy. Sure, you're going to show up at the top of a search page, but the second you stop paying for that ad, you're gone. just because you pay for it doesn't mean that your organic postings are also going to increase. That's not how it works. Paid has nothing to do with your authority, and it's not going to help grow the authority of your website, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But it is not a long-term strategy. It's short-term, and because of that, it can be it can cost you a lot of money to get there. Number two, Google doesn't like it. So I talked about this a little bit, is that paying for a keyword, yes, that's okay. Google makes a lot of money on ads. Like, Google is fine with that. So again, if you want this short-term quick boost that isn't going to grow organically, it's just going to get you to the top of the page faster. There are a few instances where I think brands can start with this. And that can be if you have a really highly competitive name, or your name is commonly misspelled. There are things like that where you might want to pay so that people who are searching for you can find you right away. So that can be a piece of it. But when it comes down to some of those other paid strategies that I talked about, so things like buying backlinks, paying for content, working with a company that's guaranteeing you rankings, this is what Google does not like. When it comes to paid link buying, this is where you can get in some real trouble, and Google can actually kind of blacklist your website. So what this means, if you've never heard of this before, is it basically means you are paying another website out in the universe to put your website on their website. This is called a backlink. Backlinks typically help grow your authority with Google. So the more websites out in the world talking about you, linking you, driving traffic to your website, the higher your authority is. Because if you think about it in the real world, right? If all of your friends are talking about this amazing new shop they went to, or this amazing new place they just had lunch, or this amazing person that they worked with, you're going to think, wow, I got to try that. It's the same thing for Google. When Google sees you linked in all of these different places, Google's going to think, oh, wow, they must know what they're doing. Everyone's talking about them. Here's the problem with paid link building. When you pay to have your link on all of these websites, typically these websites are basically big warehouses for a bunch of links to a bunch of places. So Google's going to see you on this website and think, okay, what do you do? How does this website relate back to you? And it's also, those websites typically have low quality themselves. So because of that, Google's not going to give you the boost that you're looking for. So it's basically like, if you think about the recommendations you're getting from your friends. So if all of your closest friends and your family are telling you about this place that you really need to go eat at, great, you're going to love it. But say you hear about this from people that you don't trust their opinions. They're people who have cheated you and lied to you in the past. A group of people that you know that you don't have the same tastes as. If you're hearing about a business from those people, you're likely going to put it on your list as like, wow, that's a place I need to avoid. I don't jive with these people, so I'm likely not going to jive with this place. It's the same thing with link buying. If Google sees that you are being linked in all of these low quality places, it's not going to help you boost either. So again, Google does not like that. If you have been doing this, like say, I see this all the time where people are like, I'm paying $200 a month to someone to manage my SEO, and I don't know what I'm paying for. Likely, this is what you're paying for. You're paying for a boost in backlinks, and it's worth digging into. So Google Search Console is a tool that I highly recommend. I just talked about it in our last episode, and definitely a tool that you should sign up for. This tool will tell you if you have any links out there that are spam links that need to be removed. And you can use Google's removal tool within there to remove it, and then you won't have that issue anymore. So that's a really great place to monitor whether you have these bad links that Google is kind of dinging you for, so to speak. So the third problem with paid SEO is that there's kind of this lack in transparency when it comes to working with agencies. So I'm not just talking about buying ads here, and I'm going to get back to talking about that. But when it comes to paying for guaranteed rankings, sometimes there's just a lot of really vagueness around what is actually happening. And this is something that I actually frequently talk to people. And as an agency ourselves who works on SEO for our clients, this is what we are always overcoming. I can't tell you the amount of times I've worked with people who have been burned by an agency in the past. And half of my job is just convince them that we're not trying to do the crap that they're doing. And here's why. So make sure, regardless of who you're talking about, make sure you truly understand what SEO services you are getting and make sure you get it. Because if the people on the other end of the table are trying to make it sound super complex, like you can never understand it, that is a massive red flag, and I would run away from that. You can understand it. You can understand SEO. You can understand what it's doing for your business. And as a business owner, you have to feel really strong in the fact that it is working for you if you're spending money on it. So I would strongly suggest, especially if you're paying for something, even if it's small, even if it's $100 a month, $200 a month, please try and understand what it is that you're paying for, how that's moving the needle, and what the KPIs are so that you actually know what the goals are coming out of this spend and where it's going. Because if you're paying someone $200 for the last 3 years, every single month to do something that you don't even know what's working for you, chances are you could pay for some really amazing foundational things one time that is going to boost your website tenfold compared to the small monthly payment that is happening. So the lack of transparency is the biggest issue that we have with a lot of our clients that come to us because they just truly don't understand what they're paying for. And we're looking for something that's cheap. But at the end of the day, if it's cheap and not delivering the results, what's the point? So I'm going to jump into number 4 now, the high competition, which means high costs. So let's talk a little bit about ads. I want to go back to paying for a keyword and paying for an ad. So typically, the most popular keywords that you pay for are going to be extremely competitive, which means that bidding for these keywords to actually show up in that sponsored space is going to start getting really pricey. There's something called cost per click, CPC, and this is what you pay for a keyword. So every time someone clicks on your sponsored link, you are going to pay the cost associated with that cost per click. So if a keyword has a $5 CPC, every single time someone clicks on your link, they are going to pay $5 for that click. So you better hope that that click converts, right? Because that just cost you $5. So this can be something that if you want to rank for these highly competitive keywords and show up, these keywords that get tons of traffic, you are going to pay the cost to be there. And it has to be something that works for you. Sometimes there are keywords that have lower volume, and this is where an ad specialist can really help you determine what the best words are to go after and what makes sense. So for small businesses, paying for competitive keywords, this can really, really drain your marketing budget super fast. And there's no guarantee that they're going to convert the traffic that you are paying for. Just because you're paying to get traffic for your website doesn't mean they're doing the thing you want them to do on your website. Ultimately, your website still has to do its job. Do you have good copy? Do you have a good overall UX navigation so that people can actually navigate to where they want to go? Do you have a clear call to action so that people are doing what it is that you want them to do, such as buy a product or inquire about a service or an offering that you have, join your email list? We need to make sure that that converts at the end of the day, especially if you have these really high cost per click ads and keywords that you're going after. Okay, now let's bounce back to authority, what I was talking about before. So paid ads do not build authority. When I say authority, I'm talking about a metric called domain authority. And this is a measure where Google sees how credible or relevant you are within the industry, within the keywords, within those things that you're going after. It's a marker that's measured 0 to 100. You can actually check yours by just Googling Moz authority checker, and you can see what your authority score is. The higher your authority is, the easier it's going to be for you to rank on Google. So our goal, our SEO goal at the end of the day, we are always trying to grow our overall authority. And the way you do that is by creating content, good content, content with strong keywords that drive traffic to our website, and by growing your backlinks, getting good, high quality, authoritative people to talk about you online. By doing all of those things, you are going to build your authority over time. This number grows really slowly, but the more you build your authority, the better your SEO is going to work for you. And a lot of times, the more you're building this authority number, you're going to start noticing that old content is ranking, or you're getting new traffic because all of these pages and this content that you've written is starting to move up the Google search pages. So now you went from page 5 to page 1 because you have a higher authority. So this is always the goal. The goal with organic SEO is to grow your authority. Now, ads, they might give you that quick visibility, the brand awareness that you're looking for, but they're not going to build authority like organic SEO can. So Google rewards sites that prove their value with consistent and high quality content. You can't just skip the system by paying for ads. So even if you are paying for keywords, it's really important to make sure that you are also growing your authority, because again, those ads and that paid traffic isn't growing your authority. So you're going to stay on page 10 if that's where you're sitting, or you're going to have to pay for ads forever and ever. One thing that is not a lot of people understand is that 70% of people scroll past paid ads anyways. So think about how you navigate Google. I don't like to be sold to. I typically ignore the ads and I scroll down to the organic listings anyways. So sure, you might be capturing the 30% of people that are clicking, but chances are your 70% of people, the bigger opportunity, the bigger piece of the pie is scrolling by you, even though you're paying for that ad to show up at the top of the page. And sponsored is bold and bigger than it's ever been before. So it's very clear to see what is an ad and what is not. So this is my biggest issue with buying a keyword, is that you are skipping the whole hard work piece of it to grow your authority, and you are likely throwing money down the drain because of it. So the next reason is that those click-through rates tend to be lower on paid ads. So like I just mentioned, 70% of people are scrolling past sponsored. So studies show that many users skip over paid ads and they favor organic results because they can trust them. They can trust organic links. They've done the hard work to get there. They're not just paying to get there. And even if you are paying to be at the top, that click-through rate might not be as high as you'd expect. So it might not perform as well as your organic click-through rates are going to perform. So again, it can be lower on a paid ad perspective. And finally, it's really hard to build genuine connections. So when people discover you through search, they're more likely to view you as a trusted source. Most often, I am always looking at our clients' Google Analytics results to see how people are getting traffic to their website. And almost every single time I see organic search, regardless of whether it's their top traffic driver or their lowest traffic driver, time on site is the longest. It is the highest time on site for search engines because people are seeking you out and they truly want to read what it is that you have. They're ready to engage with your content. So that's huge, is that when people are finding you through search engines, they're investing the time in you. They're investing to build that genuine connection with you. And they're much more likely to do that with an organic listing than they are with paid. So let's talk about what works instead. This is kind of just a big summary of why paid ads don't always work. But what you should be focusing on, whether you are running paid ads because you have to for a billion different reasons, you should also have this be set up with an organic SEO strategy. So you should be focusing on your content, creating high quality, valuable content, and going after keywords that people are searching for, keywords that resonate with your audience, keywords that match your niche. And you should be focusing on building authority and trust and being consistent. So this is what organic SEO can do for you. So does paid SEO never work? No, it can absolutely work, but it should be in conjunction with a really strong organic strategy. So I've worked recently with some agencies here locally, and they have a team at their agencies who do paid SEO, and they run paid SEO for campaigns. But lately, I've actually been partnering with these agencies to talk to their clients about the importance of organic, because they know that, yeah, they're having this one-time campaign, this one-time report, but how is this actually helping their long-term growth strategy? And the answer is it's not. It is very campaign, very individual, very specific to that one instance. It's not helping them grow forever. So it's been so fun to tap into these really big clients and really big agencies who are starting to understand the value of organic SEO, even when they're looking at things from a campaign perspective. So if you need help getting started, SEO on Tap is open right now. This is our DIY SEO course that teaches you how to do all of these things for organic SEO, create content, use keywords on your website, build authority and trust, talking through those backlink strategies, and how to be consistent with creating content that Google actually really loves. So go to the link in our show notes. You can learn all about this course and how you can use organic SEO to really grow your website long term.
If you like this episode, please be sure to share it with a friend and subscribe so you don't miss any new episodes dropping every Monday. Plus, if you haven't already, please go ahead and leave us a review and don't hesitate to share any new episode ideas. We absolutely love hearing from you and creating this content for you. See you next week.